Hello all. This mediation is here to help facilitate your divorce. You will all be civilized and you will please address all speech to me, to you.
So even if we want to talk to one another, we can't. I mean, if I wanted to say, Dina, I am going to have a beautiful life with your husband. Dina.
I can't believe you brought her.
I can't believe you brought Christine.
I can't believe you shacked up with a bitch.
I just want to say for the record, I just needed an upgrade in my life, Deanna.
You son of a bitch. I'm sorry, you son of a bitch.
You're the son of a bitch.
You're the son of a bitch.
I am Jack.
This is Michael Faulkner, and it is showtime at the May 11, 2018 edition of the Weekly Podioplex, brought to you on the Chronic Riff Network. If you're a new subscriber from Hoolanta, welcome aboard. We're happy to have you here. Starting the box office report for week 18 of 2018, the newcomers tried, but they were unable to stand against the Avengers and Thanos. The weekend for this year comes in 6th all-time, with $162 million in the top 12, falling in behind a slate of comic book titles including Spider-Man 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Iron Man 3, and both of the previous Avengers films. Let's start this countdown with number 10 and Blockers, down 2 from 8th. At number 9 is Super Troopers 2, down 3 from 6th. At 8th is Truth or Dare, down 1 from 7th. In 7th is Black Panther, down 2 from 5th. Black Panther is about $7 million away from becoming the third film in history to reach $700 million domestically, which is actually pretty amazing since it's coming to digital platforms this week and physical media next week. And capping the bottom 5 is new release Tully, premiering to $3.3 million. That's on target with expectations, and it played to mostly older female audiences. Critics scored between a 75 and 88%. The top 5 begins with Rampage, down 1 from 4th with $4.7 million, added to a total of $84.8 million. In 4th place is I Feel Pretty, down 1 from 3rd with $5.1 million and a total of $37.9 million. In 3rd place is A Quiet Place, down 1 from 2nd with $7.8 million and a total of $160.1 million. In 2nd place is the final new release this week, Overboard, debuting to $14.7 million. That's ahead of expectations and is well received by audiences with A- cinema score. Critics, on the other hand, they disagreed, landing with a score between 31 and 45%. Remaining in 1st this week is Avengers Infinity War, adding $114.8 million to a total of $453.1 million. That is the 2nd largest second weekend ever, behind Star Wars The Force Awakens and just ahead of Black Panther. Infinity War has also become the fastest film to reach $1 billion, doing so in 11 days. It is the 6th Marvel title and the 17th film in Disney's catalog to reach that mark. The box office premieres for May 11th are fighting the Avengers with higher education. This week's headliner is Life of the Party, a comedy starring Jillian Jacobs, Melissa McCarthy, and Debbie Ryan.
Oh, hell no. I don't know what's sadder, the mom perm or the mom boobs.
These allowed this one to suckle at these teeth for 28 months. I wear them around my waist
about this now.
proudly.
This isn't the time.
Get ready for the wildlife.
After her husband abruptly asks for a divorce, a middle-aged mother returns to college in order to complete her degree. Life of the Party is rated PG-13. The other wide release this week is Breaking In, a thriller starring Gabrielle Union, Billy Burke, and Richard Cabral.
There she is. Gotta say, I didn't think you'd make it this far.
Yeah, you and everybody else.
Listen, Sean. I want to end this as much as you do.
Great. You tell my children to come outside. You don't touch them. We'll walk into the woods and you don't follow. When we're in the clear, I'll let them go.
And And how do I know I can trust you?
You don't. But you know you'll do whatever you have to do, because there's nothing else you can do. You're a man at the mercy of a woman whose greatest weakness has a saw to his throat.
A woman fights to protect her family during a home invasion. Breaking In is rated PG-13. There are also 8 titles on this week's limited slate, and you can find those in the show notes. Next up is a look at the home entertainment slate for the week of May 8th, and I'll begin with new release on DVD and Blu-ray, and that list kicks off with Phantom Thread, a drama starring Daniel Day-Lewis, Leslie Manville, and Richard Graham. Set in the glamour of 1950s post-war London, renowned dressmaker Reynolds Woodcock and his sister Cyril are at the center of British fashion, dressing royalty, movie stars, heiresses, socialites, debutantes, and dames with the distinct style of the House of Woodcock. Women come and go through Woodcock's life, providing the confirmed bachelor with inspiration and companionship until he comes across a young, strong-willed woman named Alma, who soon becomes a fixture in his life as his muse and lover. Once controlled and planned, he finds his carefully tailored life disrupted by love. Phantom Thread is rated R. Number 2 on the list is 50 Shades Freed, a drama thriller starring Dakota Johnson, Jamie Dornan, and Ariel Kebbel. Anastasia and Christian get married, but Jack Hyde continues to threaten their relationship. This release also includes an unrated cut of the film, presumably with a little more steam and skin and maybe a couple extra shades of gray. 50 Shades Freed is rated R. And number 3 on the list is Batman Ninja, an animated action film starring Roger Craig Smith, Tony Hale, and Tara Strong. Batman, along with a number of his allies and adversaries, finds himself transplanted from modern Gotham City to feudal Japan. Batman Ninja is rated PG-13. Swinging by new releases on digital video, I have one title. I already mentioned what it was. It is Black Panther, Chapter 6 of Phase 3 in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, starring Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, and Lupita Nyong'o. T'Challa, after the death of his father, the King of Wakanda, returns home to the isolated, technologically advanced African nation to succeed to the throne and take his rightful place as king. Black Panther is rated PG-13. Moving right along to TV on DVD and Blu-ray, I'm going to bring you 2 titles this week. The first is Bunnicula, Season 1 from 2016, starring Sean Astin, Brian Kimmett, and Kerry Walgren. Bunnicula is an all-new animated comedy series based on the best-selling children's book of the same name. The series follows the paranormal comedy adventures of Bunnicula, the vampire rabbit, who, instead of drinking blood, drains the juice of carrots and other vegetables to boost his supernatural abilities. I can't believe they made a show about this, but I absolutely loved the books as a kid. The other TV title this week is Policewoman, Season 4 from 1977, starring Angie Dickinson, Earl Holliman, and Charles Deerkop. Pepper Anderson and Bill Crowley are taking back the streets of Los Angeles, one scumbag at a time, in the 4th season of the hit crime drama Policewoman. From gun runners to dope pushers to psychopaths, these 2 LA cops won't stop until the city is cleaned up once and for all. Starring the stunning Angie Dickinson and the steadfast Earl Holliman, these final 22 episodes close the case file on one of the 1970s most wanted cop shows. With action, drama, and Ms. Dickinson's undeniable sizzle, Policewoman the final season will spice up your DVD collection with a little pepper. Wrapping up the home entertainment slate, I bring you Blu-rays from the past, and the list this week has one title. That is Windjammer, The Voyage of the Christian Radish, a documentary from 1958 starring Bjorn Umvik, Arn Anderson, and Per Ottensen. Windjammer, the first presentation in Cinemiracle, is the record of a training cruise of the full-rigged SS Christian Radish from Oslo across the Atlantic through the Caribbean to New York and back home again. It is one hell of a journey. Windjammer, The Voyage of the Christian Radish, is not rated. After a brief break for a bout of shameless podcast cross-promotion, the Weekly Podioplex will return.
Hello, Marvel Universe! My name is Jennifer Hartshorn, and welcome to Episode 0 of MCU Excelsior, a podcast about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Some of you may know us from our previous podcast, Earth Station MCU, but now we've struck out on our own to focus on the movies and full seasons of shows, rather than trying to go week by week following a show as it airs. This is the last piece that will go out over our previous feed, and if you want to follow us, you'll need to resubscribe to MCU Excelsior. Each episode will have a recap of any big news from the MCU. You might get an editorial from Jen, or a history lesson from John, and then we'll discuss the movie or show that episode is focusing on. There will be spoilers, guaranteed, for that episode's topic and other parts of the MCU as well. In the next few months, we'll be looking at Luke Cage, Ant-Man and the Wasp, of course Infinity War, and Deadpool. Yes, we know he's not currently in the MCU. We don't care. He's awesome. Within a week, you should be able to find us on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, and other fine podcatcher apps, and you can find us online in the MCU Excelsior Facebook group, mcuexcelsior.wordpress.com, mcuexcelsior.podbean.com, patreon.com/mcuexcelsior, and at the ridiculously long email address of mcuexcelsiorpodcast@gmail.com. If you find the person who has mcuexcelsior@gmail, kick him in the nuts for me. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to sharing our love of the MCU with you.
Welcome back. Denise is taking some time off, so this brings us to the end of this week's edition of the Weekly Podioplex. If you want to discuss anything you heard on this week's edition, or the show in general, we would definitely love to hear from you. You can tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you think we can do better. You can surf on over to the Chronic Rift homepage at chronicrift.com and leave an audio message right there on the website using your microphone. You just click on that widget that says send voicemail and follow the prompts. You can also write an email or send an MP3 to weeklypodioplex@gmail.com, or even go short form with Twitter. The Chronic Rift is chronic_rift. The Weekly Podioplex is Weekly Podioplex. Denise is Riley James Keith, all one word. And I am Womprat99, like the creature Luca Bullseye in his T16 in Beggar's Canyon. You can give the Chronic Rift a thumbs up on Stitcher Radio, leave us a review on iTunes, and find the Weekly Podioplex and the Chronic Rift on Facebook. The usual disclaimer applies, of course. If you leave us feedback, you may hear your words on a future edition of the Weekly Podioplex. Take a moment, stop on by, and see what other shows the Chronic Rift Network has to offer. The main show has made a comeback in 2018 and is offered weekly via Facebook Live on Sundays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Grab a cuppa and join in the fun, or download the audio version later in the podcast feed. We also explore our favorite aspects of genre entertainment with the Batcave podcast, the newly reformatted OSI Files podcast, the G2V podcast, Generations Geek, presenting the transcription feature, the Dan and Travis Show, the Sci-Fi Diner podcast, Doctor Who and Mr. Drew, the Home Game Show Version podcast, and so much more. If you have a Roku player, you can treat it like a time machine with the Chronic Riffs Roku channel, where you can find episodes of the Chronic Riffs Adventures in the 1990s, when it was a public access television show on the New York City airwaves. No Roku? No problem, because John is also uploading those episodes to YouTube, Facebook, and archive.org. So check us out, and find the culture in pop culture. If you're interested in more of my adventures, take a quick trip to my blog, Creative Criticality, where I'm watching every episode of Doctor Who from the very beginning of the franchise and reviewing those stories in the Timestamps Project. This week, I'm continuing the journey with the 24th season and the 7th Doctor. In fact, I just published Dragonfire, the debut of the companion Ace. And you can find that review and so many more at creativecriticality.wordpress.com, and you can also find Creative Criticality on Facebook. Denise can also be found on the internet at Accessories Not Included, where she talks about her writing, reviews books, and offers her services as an artist and a cover designer. She did the logo for Creative Criticality, and look at me, I'm shaking my tail feathers one more time because she deserves it. I am biased. She does great work. You can find her at accessoriesnotincluded.com. You can also check out Denise's art on her Instagram account. That's Layman's Terms. That's LaymonSterms, where she's celebrating the month of May in a really nice way. It's with mermaids. You get 31 days, 31 tales. It's kind of like Inktober, but instead it's Mermay. If you decide to pick up any of this week's new releases, why not do it through our Amazon store? You get the newest entertainment at Amazon's low prices and high-quality service, and each purchase you make that store supports the Chronic Riff Network. Your support helps to keep us on the air, and we appreciate your consideration. Look for the links to our best bets and the network store in our show notes, or click the Amazon box on the website. The Weekly Podioplex is a Lucky Shot production and is produced by John S. Drew. On behalf of Denise and John, this is Michael Faulkner. Thanks for listening. Until next time, their adventures and drama, comedy and action, worlds to explore in the depths of film. So get some popcorn, find your favorite seat, and enjoy the journey.
That's a wrap!